going to do a short little interpretation of graphs and diagrams given the example of a pie chart. The diagram shows how some pupils spend their time during one normal weekend. And if we look carefully at the pie chart, you can see that their week has school, sleep, they watch TV, they do homework, they're eating, and there are other activities on there as well. Do we agree with what Stefania says? And we've got to explain our answer. So what does Stefania say? The diagram shows we spend too much time doing homework. Well, this is a subjective question. There's the homework that we do, but if you look during an average week, more time is spent on TV. So perhaps it's not that fair a statement to make. So we would say the pie chart shows that more time is spent watching TV than doing homework, so this may not be a fair criticism. The answer is a sentence, so make sure your answers when you write them are written as full sentences. The next part of the example says, do you agree with what Aaron says? And again, you have to explain your answers. You have got to look for reasons why the answer is either right or wrong. So Aaron says the diagram shows we eat and sleep for nearly half the time every day. So if I look at eating and sleeping, they come in half a pie chart, but I think what Aaron is failing to notice is that there is something in between. So if you look carefully, between eating and sleeping, there is other activities. And that means it's not a half. There's less than a half of the time is spent sleeping and eating. So our answer has to reflect that. So we say this is not true because the section on other is between them. If this is not included, then sleeping and eating take up only about 1/3 of the time. Now it's time for you to try the exercise. So when you're doing these questions, make sure you're reading the information about the question itself, the different stages. There are 4 stages and 3 stops. Stage 1, stop. Stage 2, stop. Stage 3, stop. And then the return journey, stage 4. And then each question will be answered either by reading the distance scale for a stage or reading the time scale for a stage. You have to do that work and then explain why the relevant statement is true or false. Bark chart shows the results. Again, of a welly throwing competition, you've got to read the axes. Make sure you know that the distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters, up to 5 meters, and the number of people who've got that distance. So between 3 and 4 meters, 9 people through between 3 and 4 meters. Okay, so you make sure you read the graphs carefully. Question 3 is a pie chart. Make sure you again understand what the information is about the different flowers. Daffodils, asters are just a type of flower, crocuses are a type of flower, and anemones are a type of flower. So you can explain each of these statements that Anna and Helen are making. Here you've got 4 people's bar graphs to compare. So you've got to compare one to another, to another, to another, and look at the percentages involved. So just in David's graph, he wins just over 25% of the time, perhaps 26 or 27%. He draws 35% of the time, and he loses slightly more, 36, 37. So it's up to you. Now, last question, you're going to have to work things out. It asks, dairy farms are increasing in size. Is this statement true? Well, you've got to look at the various bits of data, which shows the greatest decrease. The word decrease means get smaller. So you have to work out by how much it's getting smaller. So if it goes from 62 to 38, how much has it gone down by? I'll leave you to figure all this out. It's now your turn to do the exercise. Good luck, send me a photograph when you've finished.